So, I watched the Book of Boba Fett, and it was pretty terrible. If somehow you don't know, the Book of Boba Fett, what a fucking stupid title by the way, is about the iconic bounty hunter from Empire Strikes Back becoming a crime lord after taking Jabba the Hutt's place following his death. I say allegedly about this because it's not about this at all. 2 of the 7 episodes don't even feature Boba Fett. Well, one technically has him on screen for like a minute or 2, but the other he's not in at all. So 25% of the show doesn't have Boba Fett to begin with. The episodes that do, most of it is flashbacks to before he was a crime lord, to uninteresting stuff. And when he is a crime lord, he doesn't do any crime at all. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I need to get to the bones of why this show does not work. The main reason the show doesn't work is the writing, which is terrible. This video is spoiler free, by the way, so if you don't want to know, if you are still determined to watch this, you just want to know how bad it is, there's no spoilers. Anyway, a good amount of the show is flashbacks to immediately after Boba gets out of the Sarlacc pit. He gets saved by some Tusken Raiders, and Boba Fett in the show is a good guy, like 100%. He is more morally upstanding than most Jedi because he doesn't want people to get killed. He's against drug running. He doesn't do any crime in the whole show except for some minor racketeering. He's 100% like a fucking pacifist, like the most morally upstanding person in the Star Wars galaxy. And the reason is because he was shown an act of kindness by being saved by Tusken Raiders, when in reality the act of kindness is him being taken. They only save him to make him a slave, which is not an act of kindness. In fact, it's the opposite. I'm not sure about you guys, but forcing someone into slavery, in my opinion at least, is rather unkind. But the majority of several episodes is Boba Fett flashback to Tusken Raiders, and eventually earns their respected course. And it's a very generic, like, noble savage story, where the Tusken Raiders are, like, dumb to the point of absurdity, and Boba has to teach them to use technology and stuff, but it's also like, oh, they have a simpler form of life. They are pure. Very generic, noble, savage stuff. And when I say the Tusken Raiders are stupid, I mean, they are stupid. They don't even understand how a speeder works. You just have to push the thing forward and it fucking goes. A toddler can understand it. One of those electronic mini cars you get for like a toddler is more complicated than a speeder. Tusken Raiders have the fucking cyclers that they use to shoot people. I'm assuming blasters require maintenance of some sort. And yet they don't understand how a speeder works. But wait, it gets even dumber. The slave labor they use Boba Fett for is leading him into the desert to dig holes with his bare hands so they can find these melons that have water in them, and that's their supply of water. And they don't even understand what a shovel is. A shovel is beyond them, like a fucking something a literal caveman had in human history is too much for people that are fucking scavengers in the sci-fi universe. There is a shot of them using a tool later after Boba's teaching him technology. It's never really focused on, it's just in the background. So I don't know if the implication is that Boba Fett explained what a shovel was to them, but it sure seems like it to me. After the Tusken thing concludes, which should be the end of the flashbacks, there's even more flashbacks of him meeting Fennec and him he's like, oh, I gotta get my armor and my ship back. And it's devoid of any tension and is not interesting at all because we've seen the future and we've seen the poster for the fucking show. So obviously we know that Boba gets his armor back. So him going on a fetch quest to get his armor back is not interesting. It takes like 20 minutes of a whole episode. It's just him going into Sarlacc pit to get his armor back. Enough about the flashbacks. Let's get to the current day stuff. Boba Fett's motivation for being a crime lord is almost non-existent. He doesn't really seem interested in money. Like I said, he doesn't want to do crime at all. The whole show and everything in the show, it's building up that he's a crime lord. He's against drugs. He doesn't do any crime in the whole show except for maybe some minor racketeering. He seems more almost like a feudal lord, like he requires protection money, but it's like legitimate protection money, like he keeps the land safe from bandits, which he does a terrible job at because there's still violence going on. Boba Fett, even the one crime he does, debatably, minor racketeering, considering he's terrible at. But he also just seems disinterested in every scene. Temuera Morrison is giving a terrible performance. Not that the writing helps. He almost sounds drunk sometimes. He puts the enunciation on like wrong words. No one in the show has a character arc. Not even like a basic one. Not even like the most basic of character arcs does not exist. There's not even like a guy who's like, I need to quit smoking. And then at the end of the show, he quits smoking. There's no character arcs. It's just Boba Fett walking around fucking Tatooine forever. And Boba Fett is a terrible protagonist. He doesn't make any decisions on his own. He'll go to make a decision, and then one of the characters will go, no, I think you should do this instead. And he'll just go, okay. He's not confident in anything. He's just there. The plot happens around him. It doesn't happen because of him. Then we have 2 episodes that have nothing to do with Boba Fett at all. One of them is just an episode of The Mandalorian, and there is actually plot necessary stuff for The Mandalorian in this show. So, all the people who heard about the Book of Boba Fett sucking ass and decided not to watch it, but are fans of The Mandalorian, when they watch The Mandalorian Season 3, they're going to be very confused, because they missed basically a full episode of The Mandalorian. The episodes that are about The Mandalorian stuff, people seem to like. I didn't like. It was Mando doing, like, really mundane stuff, like he goes through TSA, and he goes to a used car dealership and buys a new ship. The mechanic from The Mandalorian is doing like a full fucking unfunny stand-up routine as Mando is just like sort of standing there. Mando also gets pulled over. Like I said, people really liked the episode. I thought it was boring, but whatever. It was probably the best episode because it had an actual interesting character involved. The other characters we have are like the fucking mod gang, which I'm sure you've seen by now. They look like retro-futuristic cyberpunks. They don't fit Star Wars at all. They have stupid like Vespas. The choreography in this show is some of the worst I've seen in my entire life. Boba Fett never shoots anyone, as opposed to The Mandalorian, where it's very pragmatic, where he just shoots people. It's very Indiana Jones fighting the guy with the sword scene. In the Book of Boba Fett, he's just constantly getting in like physical close range fights with people, never shoots anyone. And when I say physically close range fights, it, like I said, it has the worst choreography ever. So Boba Fett just stands there as people punch him. He's completely incompetent at nearly everything in the show. Temuera Morrison is too old to play the character. Boba Fett's supposed to be 6 years after Empire. Boba Fett was in his prime in Empire to the point where Vader respected him. He was a known bounty hunter. That was 6 years prior. He's only supposed to be 41. Temuera Morrison is in his 60s. He's not fit to play someone who is just slightly out of their prime. You'd think that he was like 75 years old by the way he acts. There's a scene where Boba Fett goes to a bar to kill some guys, and on his back he has a club and a rifle. He goes in a bar and starts hitting guys with the rifle instead of the club, and the rifle breaks. It's so stupid. The whole show is so stupid. And all this dumb choreography comes to a head in the season finale, which is just nonsensical. Scene in the season finale where there's 2 giant droids and they're walking down a street and there's a bunch of people running away in a straight line, and the giant artillery droids are shooting at the people and they don't land a single shot. No one gets shot by the droids. No one gets shot and killed by these droids at any point. They miss every single shot while people are running in a straight line. They're not even like plot essential characters either. They're just a bunch of randos. It is so stupid. The show is so stupid. All in all, do not watch this show. I don't understand why they decided to make this the Boba Fett show. I mean, The Mandalorian was basically what you'd make a Boba Fett show, just him doing bounties. But like, if he was gonna be a crime lord, make him a crime lord. It just doesn't make any sense. It's not interesting. Choreography's terrible. Everything about it is stupid and bad. The show reminds me of like a DLC for a Boba Fett video game. Like, there are multiple scenes where he like has to make a decision and he's just like sitting on a throne and someone's asking him what to do in the situation, and it reminds me of like Dragon Age Inquisition where you have to decide something. It's just not good. Do not watch this show. It sucks. Anyway, this was a little bit different. This video was unscripted. Let me know if you liked it. What's your favorite Star Wars bounty hunter or whatever? Let me know in the comments below, and be sure to like and subscribe for more content. Bye bye.